call this meeting to order. You all rise. Maureen Clapp.
Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen. St. Francis of Assisi.
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to have an approval of the minutes for May 21st regular council meeting.
So moved.
Been moved, second.
Second.
Been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
On the adoption of the agenda, I'd like to add one more item to it. I want to add for the appointment to the Raven County Water Sewer Authority, Mike Commons, who has been our representative and has volunteered to continue on with that. So I'm going to add that to item number 1 on our new business.
Mayor, I have an update on the SDS litigation.
Can you speak up, please?
I can't hear
Yeah.
you.
I'm sorry. I have an update on the SDS litigation that I don't see on the agenda. I'd like to add that to the agenda.
Okay.
I move we accept the amendment to the agenda.
Second.
We moved and second to approve the agenda today. Under mayor's remarks, it's going to be one short. I have no remarks to make right now because we have other items that I feel are more important. So, department reports.
Yes, sir. As you all have in your packet, there are your monthly reports. But in addition, I would like to update everyone on the Knob Drive road closure that we currently have. EMI has finally got our plans together. We have it out for bids. Bids are due next week, and hopefully once we get those bids in, we can move forward with the project. Right now, they're estimating the project to be at least $80,000. I have reached out to Georgia Department of Transportation. There are some funds that we may qualify for. I've reached out to my contact with GDOT to see if we can get some assistance on that. And if we can qualify, there will be a 70-30% match, but I'm not sure if this project will qualify, but it's worth a try. So I just wanted to let you all know. And as soon as this bid gets awarded and construction starts, I will send out an email to let everyone know what the projected timeline is, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Until they actually get in there, there may be some questions, but we are moving forward and trying to get this project, going along as fast as we can.
And the new business, the first item, I'd like to have a motion to appoint Mike Commons to the Raven County Water Sewer Authority.
I move that we appoint Mike to the board.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
On the next one is the SDS from our attorney.
Where we are right now The county and the city of Clayton are arguing over who should be the mediator. And the county has selected a mediator that they would like, Norman Fletcher, used to be the Chief Justice of the Georgia Supreme Court, who's retired from that and doing mediation now, who's handled several SDS mediations. The city of Clayton has put forward a slate of people, including Bob Adamson, who's a retired Superior Court judge from Winder, I believe, who now does mediation, and Denny Gallus, who's an attorney down in Athens who does mediation. I think there's maybe one more, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. So they can't agree on who they want as the mediator. Sky Valley has not taken a position as to, in my opinion, all the three of those mediators are fine mediators. And I would not have a problem mediating with any of them. But this county filed a motion in the Superior Court to basically have the judge just pick a mediator. And Clayton has filed a response, and Mountain City has filed a response, basically just saying that they don't care. And so the city of Sky Valley, we probably need to file a response, either picking a mediator or saying we don't care. My opinion legally is that all of the mediators suggested by the county and the city are all qualified and can be the mediator. But I just wanted to update y'all on that. So I probably need to do a filing sometime this week just to let the court know what the city's position is on that. But that's where we are.
Any of the council have any questions on this?
Doug,
Yes, sir.
sorry, Mr. Mayor, does that mean we're going to say that we don't really have a preference and it was fine with us?
That's my recommendation, just because all of the mediators, both that the county and the city have selected, are qualified, and I think they're fair. And so I think we should just let the Superior Court judge know that and kind of let the county and city do that.
Great, thank you.
All right, considering the resolution for the change of the polling location, we've had a discussion on that at the workshop. And I'm not asking for a answer. I'm asking for a vote on the resolution to accept this.
I move that we move our polling place from Sky Valley to where the county and all other cities in Cleveland County vote in Clayton.
I'll second.
Then moved and second, any discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
it's come to my attention that the spreadsheet that we were relying on had overstated the cost per vote. We have the total cost of each of the elections, and it looked like in recent elections it was costing us about $100 a vote. The way we got that number was to divide by the number of votes cast in Sky Valley. In other words, we were attributing all of the cost to the votes cast in Sky Valley, which made it look like it was really a big expense for us to put on the election. And in fact, and I'm sorry I didn't catch this earlier, we probably should have divided the total cost of the election by the total number of votes, in which case the cost per vote in the last 3 elections would have been $22, $10, and $10. So it's what we didn't have was the breakdown of how much was the cost of administering the votes cast in Clayton and by mail in the early voting versus how much of the cost was due specifically to having the polling station open in Sky Valley. So doesn't make our elections look as expensive as it had earlier. And again, I apologize for not catching this earlier.
Is your information,
Yes. Go ahead.
who's verified your information?
You talking?
I'm talking to Jim.
Jim.
I thought that the cost of the election to us isn't it billed to us? It's billed to us.
Right.
So that number of dollars is what we paid.
Exactly.
Now, whether, and that's the most important thing,
The total.
rather than
Yeah.
how we divide it by. But if we divided that number by the number of people who voted from Sky Valley, that's what that is incorrect. You'd have to divide it by the number of potential voters in Sky Valley.
I think another part of that, the second most important part, is that with the new equipment, the facility that we have is not large enough to accommodate the equipment in and of itself. And so that was another big component to the decision to change the polling place.
Now, Mr. Mayor.
That was a major factor.
Yes.
I think all my life I've voted in garages and halls and churches, and this is the first time I've ever voted in a municipal building. I think it's a great economy to be able to vote in a municipal building, but I think we have other facilities that are available to us. The room we're in now, for example, the room we met in last week for our workshop.
Basically, what you're saying is true, we could go anywhere, but the majority, you want to look, there isn't a person in Sky Valley that doesn't go to Clayton at some time. They're always down there. We are billed there is a cost billed to the city, just the city, for having the people come up from Clayton to supervise the election, to see about the voting, and handle that whole thing. That's a cost to us. If we go down to Clayton, we're the only city in Georgia, in Raven County, that doesn't have the county take care of their voting. This way, we will not have to bother with our own elections. They'll all vote down in Clayton. All the expense that we've had up here that we had to make up for the out of our own money and money set aside that can be used for something else. And where so few people vote on the final day, it doesn't come anywhere near to the cost of what it is that we have to pay out. And therefore, we are tying up our own health, getting ready for this. I strongly recommend that we consider this and change our polling location down to Clayton, and they'll handle all the elections for the city of Sky Valley.
Mr. Mayor, do I have a question here?
No,
No.
thank you.
Mr. Mayor, it's hard for a lot of us who are retired to believe, but there's a lot of folks in Sky Valley who actually have jobs and work. And I know when I was...
Speak up, please.
We can't hear you.
We can't hear anybody talking.
Thank you, Barb. I think we've got a lot of citizens in Sky Valley who are still working. They have jobs in Highlands, they have jobs in Dillard. I remember when I was busy working, I always went to the polls first thing in the morning, on the way to work, or in the evening coming home. And going to the polling place, seeing your neighbors, being able to vote in your community. For us, we're like Tallulah Falls. We're at the very corner of the county. It's a 25-minute drive into Clayton. I think we give up a little bit in terms of democracy, and I don't think it's really that expensive to have the voting here. Here's my thinking. The county pays $9 an hour for 4 people to come up here, so that's $36 an hour. They're here for, I think, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., under $500. The other cost will be we have to have a person who is certified in the election process. We have to have the election machinery under secure guard while it's left overnight. So rather than having, rather than having the whole cost of the election being the cost of voting in Sky Valley, the bulk of the cost of the election is still going to be having the absentees counted, early voting counted. We're not a poor community. Mountain City wants to save a few bucks. Their budget's a fraction of what ours is. I think in our $1 million budget, we can afford to have some voting in Sky Valley. Now, the city of Tallulah Falls, the city of Tigard are going to put their decision in abeyance until next year. The whole law doesn't go into effect until 2020 anyway. I would prefer to see how it works for the other folks, see how people believe about that, and make that decision later.
Thank you.
The fact is, it is the state of Georgia that's clearly moving towards the kind of thing we're proposing.
2 minutes. Okay. I'd like to have a,
Mayor, if I could
yes.
say one thing. If you look at the resolution, what you're voting on is to move the precinct, but it's also a preliminary step. If you vote to do that, then what we have to do is run a notice in the paper for 2 weeks, advertising that the city is planning to move the precinct. And you also have to select a public hearing date that will be ran in the paper. And then you would have a public hearing, and anybody who would like to speak on that issue can do so. And then after the public hearing, if you want to continue along with it, you can do so. But that's what you're voting on here, is to move the process along.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you, Doug. With that understanding, I would say we should go ahead and just go through the process and have the hearing.
Can I have a vote on the, consider the resolution for change of polling location? Huh? All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Motion's carried. We've had discussion on the sale of the surplus property, merchandise, and dumpsters, weed whackers, tractors, so forth. And we can advertise it into the government deals that we discussed at the workshop. I'd like to have a motion to continue on with the sale of our surplus property.
So moved.
Second. Moved and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion's carried. Audit letter.
Yes, so this is just our audit letter, just to let you know that we're moving forward with the audit, trying to see if we can get it scheduled, our audit results scheduled for July, work session. At this date and time, I've not heard back from her, but just to let you know that we are moving forward with the audit. And she's already compiled her information, come in and did her internal, investigation and is in the process. This is just an update to let you all know what's going on.
I don't think there's any need for.
No,
me
so
to
there's
go-
no action necessary, present.
All right, we have item 10. We have a water problem on 278 West Sugar Bush. We had a break in the water in there, and of a total of $6,780.52. It's an awful lot of money, but the policy of Sky Valley has been today, yesterday, and in the past, that it is up to the resident when they leave to shut the water off. This was not done. We have offered is in the past, and we voted on at the council that we pay half of the water bill. And the customer has to take care of the rest. They have sent a check for $1,000. Excuse me. By a little over $1,000 to the city already. I can't think of any, we can't change the policy that has been voted on. I know it's a lot, but I think that what I would recommend is that they've sent us a check. They go into the city and see our city manager, sit down and arrange to their convenience a payment to make up the rest of it. And that's the only thing that I can see as a solution to this problem. But as of right now, it is I'm asking the council, so we get this started, is on the water bill to accept half the payment and 3,000.
It's already been reduced. It was originally 6,700. It's been reduced to 34, and she's already paid 1,000 of it
Yeah.
at this point.
So,
I make a motion that the council affirm the decision that City Hall has made, and that, which is in following the ordinance addressing this particular issue.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
I second.
Moved and second, any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I agree with everything that you said, including the resolution that we need to make in this particular case, which is basically, instead of demanding the money right away from the homeowner, that we give them a chance to pay it off according to an agreed schedule. I would suggest that this is something that we might want to readdress for the following reasons. It's come to my attention that some years ago, the city decided to install an extra cutoff valve on the homeowner's side of the meter. It's also come to my attention, and this was for good reasons. The city didn't want the clumsy homeowners turning off the city valve because eventually that could damage it or could bang it up. So we created a homeowner valve. In the process of putting the homeowner valve that the homeowner could turn the water on and off with, the contractor, and no fault of the city, but the city's contractor apparently put in a 90-degree elbow into the reconnected pipe. This fitting was not intended to be underground. Most of them are underground. And apparently these things have been failing for quite a while. And the city policy is that even though we put it in for our convenience, we create a situation which is causing homeowners a little bit of a problem. Now, we all pay for the water, so we're all paying for this problem one way or another. We're in a little lottery right now to see when our fitting fails on our side of the meter, and then we come up with a big leak and a big bill. Some of us have been lucky and some of us have been unlucky. The only other way that I see to handle it would be have the city take responsibility of the fittings of the street and the damage that results from that. What this would mean would be there would probably have to be a modest increase in, we would have to make an estimate as to how much this costs a year, put that into our rate base, so that we pay for it gradually rather than all at once.
Mr. Mayor, we have a motion and a second on this particular issue, and if we need to discuss anything outside of this issue, we can set that up for a work session in the future.
Agreed.
Moved and second that we, on the water bill, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Now, under the public forum, general comments. Any person with business before the council not scheduled on the agenda as a public hearing may speak to the council for a maximum of 3 minutes. The speaker must identify by name, address before speaking. No formal action can be taken. Maureen.
Thank you. Excuse me, Maureen Platt, 95 Breckenridge Lane. I have had the city turn my water off and on when I go away for years. I have never touched the fitting because I don't know what I'm doing. And it's $10 to turn the water off, and then I call when I'm coming back, and it's $10 to turn the water back on. And it's been well done by people in the city. If it's the weekend, I believe it's the police that do that. And for myself, $10 either way doesn't sink me or save me. And I have never touched the fittings. I couldn't even tell you what they look like. But personally, that has worked very well for me.
Thank you. Any other comments? If not, I ask for a moment.
I'd like to make a comment. One question is, when do we plan to start paving the roads, and have those decisions been made as to which roads? That's just something that I guess you can ask you back in the workshop. And I'd like to say a personal thank you to Moody Barrett. I don't know how many, all of us who haven't been driving down Ridgepole. The guys put together hours and hours of repairing a very important water hydrant there. Thank you, Moody.
It's a little bit of my incompetence there that I had taken apart 5 times, but it's back working now.
Any other comments? Yes, sir.
I have 2 different subjects. One, is there going to be available the surplus property that you intend to sell?
It will be placed on Gov Deals. I'll send out an email to let people know what's going out. We have like 5 or 6 items that we'll be listing on there. Hopefully I can get it listed in the next couple of days.
Okay.
But I'll send something out.
I'm Mark Sutherland, 380 Walking Bear Lane. My next question concerns the Knob Drive detour. I'm new here, so I'm asking because I don't know. Does the city have $80,000 they can write a check for next month to pay for that? Because I guess if you're getting bids, so we can have to pay for them.
What we
Yes,
pay our taxes for.
that's exactly right. We do have reserves for this type, of repairs, and
Okay.
we get it done, you know, whatever it takes, because it's gotta be done.
Sure,
It's
right.
one
The
of those
other thing, the $80,000 figure that I hear, is that from the architect?
That is from the engineer, that is their estimate, right.
So he published that to the people that were giving bids?
Normally, when you do construction, cost with this type project, what you do is you put your bid packet together, you get it to your prospective construction companies, and unless they ask, you do not tell them. Normally, that is the process.
Okay. Another question I have is, does anybody know how far it is from, if you go past the bridge that's sinking, there's a curve there, the stream is right on the left-hand side of the road. Does anybody know how far it is from that spot to going right straight down this road, cross over, you know, the pickleball court's on your left, and there's that flat field? I think it's about 150 feet of flat ground. From right there, right straight, it's not even woods, it's a field. I think there used to be a lake back there somewhere.
Yes.
Wonder what
If
the
you're
cost-
thinking, excuse me, if you're thinking about building a private road across somebody's private property,
I don't know who owns it, that's what I'm
Mr.
saying.
Merrill, if you
So the lake is owned
If
by
you
this.
contact Mr. Merrill and he comes back and says, yes, you can do it, the city be happy to watch you build that road.
No, I was just thinking about pouring some gravel, you know, 4 or 5 loads of gravel, and we can start using it
Just
tomorrow.
same thing. But we're not gonna touch anything that belongs to
I
Mr.
didn't, I
Merrill.
thought the city might own it, I didn't know.
That's
Yeah.
When is the deadline for, bids to become?
the 26th, next week.
All right, thank you. One more thing though, about a different subject, third subject. Alex Mountain Road, the detour road, there's 2 12 by 12 holes in the center of the pavement that are about, I didn't put a tape measure, 4 to 6 inches deep. I got a picture on my camera, but I don't remember the address, but it's on the far end of Alex Mountain. The holes are right slap dab in the middle of the road, so you gotta go on the other side, the other lane, to miss the hole, in both cases. And both of them in that same curve at that same height. And I had requested, a couple of times verbally, just to see if we could get don't they make asphalt in a little bag and just, whatever. But those things are dangerous.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
Thank you.
Who's that?
Yes, ma'am, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I'm Robert Smalley, 103 Buttermilk Circle, and this was a real shock to me that the meter that I'm cutting off, that the city meter, that the pipe breaks between the city meter and my meter, and herefore I think I will cut off the city meter, because my meter is built into the hillside. It's about yay deep, looking into a dark hole to see to cut it on and off. And yeah, I could do like Maureen and pay the $10 each way, but we have to get a flashlight to look in the middle of the sunny day. And I used to use the city meter, and I don't want to take that risk that the pipe breaks between the city and the meter that you may have me cutting off, and I've done it for your convenience, and I don't see a reason why now, really.
Anything from our meter to your meter is still city property.
That's
So
not
that-
what I heard, sir.
No,
That
that
pipe
is
in
not
between,
right.
she said no.
No?
Anything past the city
No,
meter
he's
is the
saying-
homeowner's
He's
responsibility.
saying between the city and homeowner, that is our property.
Right, so I want to cut it off where my responsibility begins.
Is at the homeowner valve. Nobody cuts off their meter because of the electronic part of it. If you damage it, that costs money. That's
Right,
why we put the homeowner valve in,
right.
so people could cut that off.
But I want the homeowner valve before we get to the city meter,
You can't put it before the city meter, it has to be after the city meter.
but the city ought to have responsibility for it if it's.
We have
staged.
responsibility from the meter to the homeowner valve. Past homeowner valve is yours.
Okay, so it is yours for that
In
9
between,
degree pipe.
yeah, if anything happens in between those two spaces, that's
I'm good.
ours.
I didn't
That's why
understand.
you use, that's why
I
you
didn't
use the homeowner
understand, Ella was
valve.
shaking her head no the whole
Yeah.
time they were saying that
Yeah.
9 degree, we would not take responsibility.
Should be the city's responsibility. The homeowner should not be responsible for anything, I don't think, that the city installed. The homeowner should be responsible for the pipe.
That's how it was drawn up in
homeowner
ordinance.
installed.
Well, I appreciate clarification on that, because that wasn't what I understood being discussed earlier. Thank you.
That's what I think too.
Yes, ma'am.
Lynn Becker, Downing Street. I miss seeing your sign that announces the council meetings. Maybe placed right where you're having them, even the same day, but just, I missed that. I shopped around before I found you today. And I think other people might.
Have you signed up for the emails when we send out the emails where the council meeting is going out
It's
each time?
possible that I have not.
I've signed up, but I've never received one.
But call City Hall and check, because we can check your name and address, your email address, and make sure you're getting the meeting notifications.
Who you?
I'm got my hand up. I'm Barbara Kobacker, and I'm at 407 Pleasant Mountain, and everybody can hear my voice, which I love. Two things I want to tell you is, first of all, I just found out there is a city newsletter that you can subscribe to, and it's going to tell you everything that goes on. I didn't know this. Right, Ella? So somehow we get a hold of City Hall and sign up for the newsletter. Then we know what's going on. And second of all, take a look at the bicentennial celebration for Rabun County, which is 200 years old. There's lots of stuff going on, and you need to get off the mountain and go down and line dance and go to the movies and do stuff. Expand your world. Thank you.
Expand your world.
What is this newsletter?
It's the email notification.
If not, if there isn't any more questions, I want to thank you very much for attending. And I like.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, please. Motion?
Did he even answer your question about the sign?
I'll make the motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Moved and second, all in favor?
Here, wait, did you sign up?
Email bulletin, and then